What's up, everybody? You were tuned in to the Cris Style
Ammo.
Podcast, episode 158, Big Energy Monday. Hope everybody's having a good Monday wherever you're at. You're at home, you're at work, but whatever you're doing, we hope you're having a good day. For you guys listening on the playback, we appreciate you too. Leave a like and a
Mhm.
comment. Um, hope we got a lot of things to get into, basketball news and football stuff to get into. Um, yeah, so buckle up your seats for another great show, man. But Maul, what's going on, man?
Not much, bro. Feeling good, man. Enjoying these days off from work, man. So much needed, man. How you feeling?
Feeling pretty good, man. I can't complain.
That's what's up.
All right, man. Let's talk about the. Let's start with the women's Final Four in the national championship since that's already wrapped up.
Okay.
Okay. So Friday, we had the Final Four for the women. You had South Carolina versus Texas. South Carolina ended up beating Texas 74-57. Um, Holding Texas to 22 second half points. Freshman Joyce Edwards led the Gamecocks with a double double, recording 13 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists. Tiana Pow contributed 14 points in efficient shooting. Um, this was, probably their best they've looked all tournament. Uh, I just think that they neutralized Texas scoring. Their defense was just a little bit too much for Texas, and Texas is not a high scoring team anyway. They do a lot of inside and mid range jumpers. They're not a very good 3 point shooting team, and you notice in this tournament, teams that give South Carolina problems can shoot on the outside. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But um, yeah, they Texas just didn't have enough firepower for South Carolina. So, but this is the best they looked all tournament. And we'll get into the national championship in a minute. But this was the best they looked. So, what was your thoughts?
Now I agree with you. When they played Texas, that it seemed like South Carolina was kind of like finding their own. Um, I thought offensively they looked really good. I thought the flow of the offense looked really amazing. The defense, I think we all knew we could trust their defense going into that
Mhm.
game. Overall, man, I thought Texas put up a great fight. What's old girl's name? She got into foul trouble.
Madison,
Madison Booker.
Madison Booker. Hmm.
Yeah, she looked like a female Kevin Durant out there. The way she was, you know what I mean, just controlling the mid range, and at the beginning portion of that game, she looked amazing, man. She looked like the best player on the court, but two quick foul calls. I think once she got I think her third one going into the half.
Hmm.
I think that's what kind of sealed it, and then they just were never able to get their momentum back, and then South Carolina made that run. So overall, man, I felt in good spirits with South Carolina. I did have some reservations still going into the championship game, but I agree with you. This was the best that they looked all tournament long.
Yeah. And then you had UConn versus UCLA. UConn dominated UCLA 85-51. This wasn't even Paige Becker's best game. It was all Sarah Strong and Ozzie Fudd. Sarah Strong led Huskies with 22 points, 8 rebounds. Ozzie Fudd had 19 first half points.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just too much. They were too
Yeah.
much for UCLA. Lauren Betts, she had 26 points, but that's the only offense they got out of UCLA. Everybody else was non-existent. The Kiki girl, she didn't do much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, UConn was just a force, man. They just got too much firepower, and Ozzie Fudd started playing a lot better than what she's been playing in the tournament. And if you get her going, plus Paige Beckers, plus Sarah Strong, yeah, that's just too much right there. So, yeah, UConn end up advancing to the national championship, and they end up going against South Carolina. What was your thoughts on this game?
This game, yeah, you could just tell Sarah Strong, man, as a freshman, man, she's amazing, and for her ability, I think she scored the most points in this tournament as a freshman, or came close to it. But it was just an amazing performance by her. Lauren Betts, she pretty much just got no help. I was pretty disappointed in Kiki Rice's performance. I expected more from her. I expected more from this UCLA team. I did pick them to win this game. So now UConn was just a force to be reckoned with. You know what I mean? I just think. I don't know. Ever since the Juju, I hate to bring it up because it's no shot at UConn. I just think ever since the Juju Smith, not Juju Smith, JuJu Watkins injury, that I don't know. I just think the eyes just got wide open with UConn, and they just saw a clear path to get into a national championship, and they took it. They dominated UCLA. I was pleasantly surprised by that. You know what I mean? Because I think UConn has a great program. GNRM is one of the greatest basketball coaches of all time, men or women. So great performance. Sarah Strong looked amazing. Azizi Fudd, amazing as well, man. They had a great tournament.
Yeah, for sure. And then yesterday was the national championship. And remember when I told you South Carolina is the Kansas City Chiefs of women's sports? Well,
Yeah,
this was the Super Bowl.
yeah, yeah.
And all their deficiencies showed up in this damn game, just like the Chiefs did in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't get nothing going offensively, man.
No.
They couldn't
Mm-mm.
get nothing. They don't have a go-to player, man. They don't, and it showed up in this game. Paige Beckers, Zifa, Sarah Strong, they were just too much for South Carolina, man.
Yeah.
And South Carolina just they couldn't stop them. They couldn't,
Mm-hmm.
and they couldn't get nothing going offensively. Bree Hall couldn't get nothing going. Joyce, they were like none of them. Tahina Pow, none of the key players on South Carolina could get nothing going offensively. And once
Mm-hmm.
they got behind the 8 ball, it was just bad. It was just
Yeah.
bad. Um, but shout out to UConn. They won their national championship. They ended their drought. They haven't won one since 2016. So they
Mm-hmm.
finally ended their drought. Shout out to Paige Beckers for getting one on her way out. She's probably going to be the number one overall pick next year,
Mm-hmm.
um, or in this year's draft, whatever. Um, and she, the past two games, she didn't really have to do no heavy lifting. It was like I said, it was Sarah Strong, it was Fudd. She just, contributed her points that she needed to contribute. So, um, but South Carolina, they'll be fine. Don Staley's gonna get the recruit. She had a couple of them in the women's McDonald's All American game. She had like two top players that are going to come to South Carolina. So
Mm-hmm.
I think she'll be fine. You get Ashton Watkins back next year. I know she had tore her ACL in the middle of the season. So you'll get her back. Raven Johnson will be back. And I think they'll retool. They got some people that are freshmen that red shirted that are supposed to be really good. So um, I expect South Carolina to be back. And they just got, like I said, they got to get back to getting that go to player. Maybe it's Mason Forley. Maybe she takes that next step to be that dominant player that you see in flashes of it in her. Offensively, she got it. It's just, what I'm saying, can she be in the starting lineup and do it and not just come off the bench? So,
Mm-hmm.
um, but like I said, I expect South Carolina to be back, and you know, shout out to UConn.
Yeah. No, yeah, shout out to UConn. Sarah Strong was easily the player of the game. Her and Azizi Fudd. But I thought Sarah Strong was amazing. I thought defensively,
Mhm.
UConn would just smother South Carolina. And me and you talked about it, man. It's just the problem with South Carolina is they did not have a go-to scorer. They didn't have nobody that could just take the ball and then just go to the hoop. They didn't have an Asia Wilson. They didn't have anybody like that you're going to get a guaranteed 20 plus points.
Mhm.
The South Carolina, I just didn't see no toughness, man. I think after that initial first quarter, they played pretty well, but they ended the first quarter pretty poorly. I think Connecticut went on like a 5-0 run, and then after that, they just could not get in control. Like just the toughness was not there. You got the likes of Chloe Kitts and Sanan Fagan, and for you to allow Sarah Strong, and I know she's amazing, but she's a freshman, and she got 15 rebounds on them. I think that's a shown of non toughness, and you could tell the frustration on Don Staley's face, man. She was just, I've never seen her that mad. Like you seen her mad, but I've never seen her look that mad before in the game where she's
Mhm.
just literally just, what I mean, having like blow ups every possession because offensively they couldn't do it. I expected more from Tahina Pow. Like her development, I don't know what's going on with her. I expected more from her. Raven Johnson, Bree Hall, I expected more for those ladies. They did for the most part. I think they did a decent job on Paige Burkers. You could tell they really focused on her, but I think in that moment it just kind of let Azizi Fudd get what she wanted. Sarah Strong KK Arnold coming off the bench. She was able to put up 9 points and stuff like that. So um, with South Carolina, that's going to be the big thing for them in the future. Is just can they find that go-to scorer, because Sarah Strong is only going to get better. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
JuJu, she's coming back. You know what I mean? Texas, I'm sure they're reloading. I'm not sure if Madison Booker is I don't know if she was a senior or junior or anything like that. I'm not too familiar, but if she's back, you got her to be reckoned with. You know what I mean? So I'm going to be curious to see Tessa Johnson's development. Fuwali, her development, man. I think those are going to be two big names that are they're going to be key. Is Chloe Kitts, is she going to enter the draft? I'm going to be kind of curious on that. I know she's a junior. I would assume she'll probably be back. But those are going to be the three ladies, if Chloe Kitts does come back, that I think they're going to be very important to decide whether South Carolina is going to be real championship contenders. Like, yeah, I'm not going to be worried Dawn Staley in this program per se, because she's always going to get the recruits. As you said, she got two top freshmen coming in, but they're going to be freshmen. Like, are they going to be able to, like, now they could put up numbers like a Sarah Strong. They could be that dominant of a style player where you can get that. But you know what I mean? We got to look at Oklahoma. They got the top recruit. You know what I mean? They're gonna get better. They got the best point guard coming into the league. Coming from high school, going into their program. So it's just gonna be a lot of things. I know. Dawn Staley, she's gonna get it back on track, but the development of those three players are gonna be very, very key for me to see if this team is actually gonna be true title contenders going up against UConn, because we can clearly see that they were completely outclassed by a freshman, and that's gonna be a problem.
I know there was, I forgot what team she plays for. I think it was Maryland or Rutgers or one of them. One of the top girls that was coming out. I think she's a point guard. Well, she used to
Oh
play
yeah,
with
the
all of
nice
them
one
in
with
South
the
Carolina.
nice one that be cooking everybody. Yes, but she was having like issues with coming off the bench and not getting playing time. I don't know. I don't know. Is she gonna hit
Well,
the
so
transfer portal? Is she hitting the transfer
she
portal?
already hit it. She already hit
Okay.
it, and she said, her Raven Johnson's been trying to pretty much get her
If
to
they
come
get
over to
her, I
South
think that's
Carolina
huge. That's huge
because they're like best friends, and they used to play AAU ball with all of them. Everybody that was on South, mostly everybody was on South Carolina. They played with her at AAU. So
Yeah, no, I think that would be huge, because at the end of the day, you kind of could tell that they just did not have any like offensive rhythm, like no point guard to put them in the spots that they really needed them to be in. And I
mhm.
just think that was just a lot of issues with that team. Like, you could just tell the offense just didn't have no fluidity to it. You know what I mean? Like, it was just, I don't know what it was going on. Like, at the end of the day, I don't know what they were trying to run on that offense. I didn't know like what specific player they were trying to do, because there were some moments where you had Chloe Kitts, bringing the ball up the court, and then you have other moments where they're standing on the side of the corner. I just don't know what kind of offense they were trying to run. And then Don Staley at the end of the third quarter, when they had their interviews, in between the quarters and stuff, even Don Staley's like, she had no idea what to do. She had no idea who's going to be the scorer. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, she kind of knew they didn't have that. For them to being able to win this game, they had to have their best defensive effort. And that clearly did not show. Like, UConn was able to get whatever they wanted. You know what I mean? It was just a masterclass. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to UConn. I know there was a lot of conversations that, Gigi Bryant would have been on this squad, because, it was her dream to be on UConn, and she would have been a freshman on that squad. So, it seemed like maybe they played with a lot of momentum with that. Paige Bucher, she kind of speaked on that as well. So, what I mean? It just kind of felt like UConn was just inevitable, and they were meant to win this year. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to those ladies. And they're going to be a formidable force with Sarah Strong while she's there at that program.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, man. Let's get into the men's, man.
Mm-hmm.
So Saturday was the men's Final Four. We had Auburn versus Florida. Florida ended up winning 79-73.
Mm-hmm.
That boy Walter Clayton Jr., man, he had 34 points, including 5 3-pointers, a perfect 7 from 7 from the free throw line.
Mm-hmm.
Um, his performance is the first time a player scored 30-point games this deep in the NCAA tournament since Larry Bird, 1979. So that
Mm-hmm.
let you know the boy was special. Elijah Martin, he had 17 points, and Thomas Hugh Hart had 12 points. Auburn's Chad Barker, Mazzara led his team with 18 points. Johnny Broom, despite his elbow injury, had 15 points and 7 rebounds. Florida defense was instrumental in the second half, forcing 12 turnovers and limiting Auburn to 27 points. Um, it was all about Walter Clayton Jr. In them last minutes, man. When
It
it was
was.
championship time, he turned up. He did.
Mm-hmm.
He turned up. And on the other side, Auburn, they just couldn't buy a bucket in that last like 4 minute range. They couldn't buy a bucket. They couldn't get no. They almost do hit a couple threes, but they was just too much. It was just too much.
Yeah.
And then when Walter Clayton got that and one
Mm-hmm.
and put them up, it was over. It was signed, sealed, delivered right there. So
Mm-hmm.
shout out to Florida, man. That Walter Clayton kid, he's nice. He's nice, man. He just like I said, when he his championship basketball time, he puts the team on his back, man, and he just goes for it. So shout out to Florida, man. They are playing in the national championship today.
Yeah, man. I try to tell y'all, man. Warren Clayton, he's as them young cats be saying he's him. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, this was a great game. You could tell that these are teams that are very familiar with each other. It was pretty much back and forth. I think that first half was amazing. Some of the best college basketball we've seen in a very, very long time. But yeah, man, it really just came down to Warren Clayton being that guy. You know what I mean? He was the best player on that court, 34 points. Like his stock has to be rising. I mean, because he's kind of doing like a Kimba thing right now. You know what I mean? Just, he is always going to hit the big shot. And I have so much faith in this man. You know what I mean? Like this kid is going to be a great, great player in the NBA. Now, do I think he's going to be like some superstar, up there with Stephen Curry? I don't know, but he has all the capabilities of being that style player. You know what I mean? He has a great size to him, great jump shot. He can get to the hole. He can run on offense. He will be a solid pickup for anybody in the NBA. So he's just such a great talent, man. And I wish he would have got more consideration for player of the year. I know Cooper Flag won it and well deserved, but he's really showing, man, that he's like one of the one-on-ones, one of the special talents coming into this draft. And that was pretty much the end of the story, man. He pretty much won them the game. They pretty much won them the last, between him and Elijah Martin. Those two guys were the key players that won Florida this game the last 3 minutes. So it was just a great performance at the end, and you know what I mean. I'm really gonna be excited to see him playing in the national championship game, because if he's doing this in the Final Four, I can only imagine how locked in he's gonna be to get them this win tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Then you had Houston play Duke. They beat Duke 70-67.
Yep.
In a dramatic comeback, the Houston Cougars overcame a 14-point deficit with just over 8 minutes remaining to defeat the Blue Devils. Houston defense was pivotal, holding Duke to a single field goal in the final 10 and a half minutes. A crucial full court press in the closing minutes forced turnovers, leading to a 9-0 run in the last 33 seconds. Jawan Roberts sealed the victory with clutch free throws. Duke standout freshman Cooper Flag scored 27 points, but was limited late in the game due to foul trouble. This victory propels Houston to their first national champion since 1984. What was your thoughts on the game?
Total choke job by Duke. That's just pretty much what it is. Great effort by Houston. I thought at the end of the day, we got to show love to LJ Cryer. He had 26 points, Manuel Sharp. They pretty much helped them keep them in the game scoring wise. But you know what I mean? It just shows the level of commitment that this Houston team, and they just didn't have no quit. There was a lot of moments in that game where it's like, all right, you just kind of know the momentum, the feels of the game. You watching it, that this game is over, that they have no answers to Duke in this offense. And then just how smothering the Duke defense was as well. You put those two together with Cooper Flag being as elite talent as he is, you just saw no way for Houston to win this game. And then as the second half was just going, it was just chip. And then I don't know what happened, but at the end of the day, Duke just couldn't hit nothing. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? I think I know a lot of people are kind of focusing on Cooper Flag, you know what I mean, the moments he has had all year where he hasn't been able to, close out these games. And I think that is an honest conversation you really need to have, because we see the difference because I was really looking forward to the Cooper Flag, Walter Clayton matchup tonight. I expected that to happen. But, there have been a lot of games. I even went to a game in Kansas where Cooper Flag had the opportunity to win the game on the final shot. And, that's going to be something that's going to be talked about. I thought he had a great performance minus, the end of the second half, but it was just a complete choke job by Duke. Let's just call it a spade. A great effort by Houston, but there was no reason why Duke should have. They were up by 7-8 points with 30 seconds left. There was no reason why Duke should have lost this game. So at the end of the day, it was a complete choke job, but a great effort by Houston. And I'm gonna be curious to see how they defend Walter Clayton Jr. I'm gonna be very, very curious to see how they do it. And I think they have a legit shot. You know what I mean? So, but great end performance by Houston.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree with you, man. It was a choke job by Duke. Even though, I love it because I can't stand Duke. I've never loved Duke.
Yeah, me too. I'm a North Carolina fan.
From my UNLV and partial North Carolina fandom, I couldn't stand Duke. I hate them with a passion. I love them when they lose. Even though I like Cooper Flag. I think Cooper Flag is a great player, great kid. He's going to be great in the NBA. But, yeah, Duke. We're dancing on your basketball grave today, buddy.
Do you have concerns with Cooper Flag closing out games?
I mean, a little bit. I mean, but that's just something that he's just gonna have to, learn. He's gonna have to get better at, and not every, it don't always start off, in the beginning. They close it. It took LeBron some time to learn how to close out games himself. So
even Kobe had an air ball. And
he had to learn how to close out games himself. All the greats, you know what I'm saying? Even Michael Jordan, he had to learn to, learn the game to close out games and play with his teammates around him, and all that good stuff. So, I'm not worried about Cooper Flag. The kid is a walking bucket. At the end of the day,
he's too talented,
and he gets rebounds, he blocks shots. Like, he's a good all around player for the most part. And you know what? He improved from that game that you saw in the beginning. What was the knock on him? He wasn't strong enough. He wasn't tough enough. He's getting pushed off his mark. What did he do? He got better at it. So that lets you know that he's coachable. The kid is coachable, and he's gonna improve, and he works hard. So I ain't worried about Cooper Flag, man. I ain't worried about
it. Neither am I. Yeah, he'll be fine.
But shout out to Houston, man. You know what I'm saying? They took advantage of the opportunities, and here they are in the national championship, and they have a chance to, shock the world because they are the underdogs in this. So
yeah,
they can pull out the upset, man. Just go for Houston. It's gonna be a party tonight.
If they win, yeah, for sure. Hit them strip clubs up because it's gonna go up.
King of Diamonds is going crazy.
Yo, facts.
All right, man. Let's talk about Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. More so Shedeur. This was more so about Shedeur than Travis. Travis is already solidified. He will be at least top 4 pick in my estimation. You know what I'm saying? I would be surprised if he gets past 4. I would be surprised.
Sounding like he about to get picked at 3 right now. Maybe 2.
That's what I'm saying. So, as far as Shedeur Sanders, and this is what irritates me about scouts is that you saw him in pads, and you saw him, whatever his conditions in Jackson State. They had a really good team in Jackson State. They ended up winning, down there, winning the national championship in that, in that division down there, with Division 3. Then he comes to Colorado. First year, his offensive line was just terrible. Let's just call it what it is. His offensive line was terrible, and they were still putting up 30, 40 points with a bad offensive line. Defense wasn't that good either. Fast forward to last college season. Offensive guy got a little bit better. He still had his issues, but it got way better from the year before. And they won some big games. Did they lose? Did they have some letdowns? Like the Kansas game was probably my biggest letdown from Colorado. You know what I'm saying? Because they had an opportunity to possibly get into the playoffs, get to the Big 12 championship, and go to the go to the playoffs that
Mm-hmm.
last year. But that was one of my more disappointing games in there. Well, other than that, I thought Colorado did what they were supposed to do. They won some big games this season. They blew out some teams that teams didn't even think they was gonna beat. So,
Yeah.
and you could look at and Shedeur. My thing when I look at a quarterback, of course you got to look at the skills. Of course, can he throw the football? Of course, that's a given. He's a quarterback. That's what he's supposed to do. But what is his poise like when adversity hits him? Is he rattled? Is he does he look shaky in the pocket? Or does he look calm? Does he look like he's been there before? Does it look like this ain't nothing? You know what I'm saying? Does his is his demeanor the same when he's winning and when he's losing? Is what I want to know. That
Mm-hmm.
lets me know that he got ice in his veins. This ain't it's a game. That's what it is. This is a game. At the end of the day, this ain't gonna hurt me. This ain't gonna kill me. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna be cool. We win or lose, I'm gonna come back and we'll get a dub. We'll try to get a dub next week. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I
Mm-hmm.
think Shedeur looks at it like that. This is a game. Yes, does he love this and he wants to win? Of course he wants to win. But my problem with scouts is you didn't you try to knock the kid, you know what I'm saying, with his playing in the pads. Then you come to the combine and all this stuff. You try to knock him for his confidence and all this other stuff. But then the showcase comes in shorts and t-shirts. He throws some footballs, and now all of a sudden everybody's like, "Oh, Shedeur, that kid can throw a little bit, huh?"
Mm-hmm.
Y'all get on my nerve.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all get on my nerve. Y'all should have been on Shedeur Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all did the same thing with Cam Ward too. Cause y'all was kind of shaky on Cam too. I don't know about Cam. Y'all didn't see all the comebacks he had to overcome with that damn defense putting him in bad positions all season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand scouts sometimes. I don't. And executives and people got these positions in these offices, and you wonder why your organization is bad. And the fan base is looking at him like, oh, we got to check. No, you don't. With these scouts that
Yeah.
look at these dudes and be like, oh, well, when you see him with the shorts and t-shirts, you see he can throw the football down the field. Well, he was doing that during the season.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And yes, do they throw a lot of deep passes in the Colorado offense? No, because they run kind of like a West Coast pro style offense. What is the West Coast pro style offense? Sideline to sideline, dinking and dunking and screens.
Yeah.
That's what
Mm-hmm.
they do. It's you know what I'm saying? They use the screen game as an extension of the run. So I don't get it. I thought it was stupid. I know why Shedeur said he was doing it to help out his guys. I think he got wind. Hey, just throw the football. Show these fools what you can do, and let's end this. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what he did. Because
Mm-hmm.
Travis didn't need to be out there. Travis had no business being out there. Let's call it what it is. Travis had no business being out there on that field. Maybe Jonte Reister and was it, what's the boy name? Johnny Jimmy Horn. Maybe those two.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, Travis didn't mean to be out there. So my assessment of this is this was a waste of time because this should have already been known.
Uh, Travis Hunter is Travis Hunter. I saw some comments that Steve Smith made about Travis Hunter and about technique and him giving away shit. I'm like, Travis Hunter be fine, bro. Like, I hear you. He's gonna develop. He's gonna get better. But if he's gonna go, I look at the end of the day, I think Travis Hunter can play. But I think the big question with Travis Hunter is what position is he going to play? Is he going to play receiver? Is he going to play? I think he can do both. I personally think he can do both. I think a team should allow him to do both. You have such a unique talent that we have not seen in this league in a long time. Take advantage of that. Take advantage of that. You know what I mean? You can 1 week play him majority receiver. There could be 1 week where it's like, yo, one of our cornerbacks is out. We need to put him in cornerback. We need him to guard one of our best receivers. And I get it. That could be a lot. But I think Travis Hunter has shown us the capabilities that he should be allowed the opportunity to do that. That's my only thing I have about Travis Hunter. With Shedeur Sanders, this shit is a complete fucking circus, man. This is one of I agree with you. This is one of my major issues with this whole scouting, drafting thing. Shedeur Sanders has clearly showed his presence in the pocket, his wearability in the pocket, his poise in the pocket, his anticipation, him reading defenses, him getting the ball to the receivers in a timely manner. His ball is so nice. I don't want to hear about arm strength. I think he has enough arm strength to succeed. I don't want to hear about him patting the ball and him cornerbacks don't have 15-20 vision at all times. They don't have eyes behind the back of their head. They're focused on the receiver. He'll be fine. Tom Brady pats the fucking ball. And he turned out to be the GOAT of all time. I think Peyton Manning did that. It just is what it is. I don't want to hear about
Patrick Mahomes passed the ball.
Patrick Mahomes, everybody passed the ball. It just is what it is. It's a rhythm thing with quarterbacks. It has nothing to do if quarterbacks aren't going to see that, bro. They're going to be 15 yards down the field looking at Jamar Chase or whoever, whatever receiver Shedeur Sanders is going to have. But I agree with you. I think this was just more for show. I think he probably got wind that some of these top teams that need quarterbacks aren't going to look at him and because he hasn't done anything, which I think is idiotic. Even with the Kansas game, I don't even think that was Shedeur's fault. I think a lot of that was the offensive line was fucking horrid. The defensive line couldn't get to nobody. And the cornerbacks were some of the worst cornerbacks, minus Travis Hunter, that we've seen. Let's call it spade. No disrespect to Shiloh, but he was getting cooked all game. He was getting cooked all game. So
they couldn't stop Devin Neal. That's what they was. Devin Neal was running.
I think the majority was line play. Because it seemed like the games before going into that Kansas game, it seemed like their defensive line was looking good. It seemed like their offensive line was actually starting to come together. And then for some reason, the most important game they had, they all folded. So. And then we saw the big hit that Shedeur Sanders took. That was a cheap shot, low blow when he was trying to throw the ball, and he got up from that. So he's a tough kid. And then we hear Tom McShay and all these guys, and the key attributes that they love from Shedeur are his precision passing and his ability to process and read defenses. But yet we're going to uplift Jackson Dart and Jalen Milroe, who have issues across the board with accuracy and reading defenses. But we're going to shit on Shedeur because he's not as athletic as those. When does athletic ability do anything to a quarterback? If he was a receiver, okay. If he was a DB or a defensive lineman or running back, you got me. But if you tell me you're going to give me a young quarterback who can precision pass the hell out of the ball and read defenses hella quick, he's one of the best quarterbacks coming into the draft that can read defenses, I'll take that any day of the fucking week. I'm sorry, that's me. You know what I mean? So it's just annoying. At the end of the day, Shedeur Sanders should get picked, but it's still sounding like people are still kind of skeptical on Shedeur Sanders. I think it's idiotic, but wherever he goes, to me, if he were to go to a team who actually has talent, let's say he were to go to the Steelers, I think that's an amazing pickup for him. Let's say he does go to the Saints. I think they got a jump start. Even though we did sign Geno, I would still love us to get Shedeur because he could be our future. And he can sit for a year or two, do the Patrick Mahomes thing, and then just come in because we can easily get out of Geno's deal in 2 years. That's been clearly stated. So I still think there's a possibility the Raiders can get him. But if he even slides past, if the Giants don't get him, fire Daboll right now. Just fire Daboll right now because Browns, I don't know what y'all doing, but that's just kind of my whole synopsis on Shedeur. They're both going to be really good players. You know what I mean? I think Travis Hunter will probably be the better player, but I think Shedeur Sanders can easily do what Jared Goff does. And Jared Goff turned out to be all right.
As far as Travis Hunter, I hear you. I'm not mad at your assessment on Travis Hunter, but I would draft Travis Hunter as a corner and just play some packages for him on offense. That's what I would do. Because it's hard to find really good corners in this league, man.
It is.
And if I can get a dude I can shut down the side of the field, I'm gonna draft him and put him there. And then I could always just play him in the slot, or I can move him around. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to play him every snap on offense. You know what I'm saying? I can give him some breathing time and substitute him in and out of the lineup when it comes to the offense. Now, corner, you playing every snap, son.
But this is what it's hard to cut you off, but this is what I'm saying. I think I would hate for him to go here, but I think the Patriots would be the greatest spot for him because you have Christian Gonzalez, you have two really solid cornerbacks. So you add Travis Hunter. I'm just saying he could be the ultimate Swiss Army knife. Like there might be a week Christian Gonzalez is out. All right, you could play him at corner all game. There might be where everybody's healthy, but one of your receivers down. All right, yo, Travis, we're gonna need you at receiver here or wherever we need you to do. Like he can literally fill in those two holes. Now, obviously, you want him to focus more on like one, just because it could be so much. But I think Travis Hunter is so smart and he's so God-gifted talented. This is the main reason why he was able to play all those downs at Colorado. So if he could do it at Colorado, why can't he do it in the NFL? I think he could easily do it. Now, obviously, the talent pool is way better in the NFL, but he's just as talented. I think he'll be just fine. Now, obviously, you don't want to wear him out. I think that's the main thing with him. You don't want to wear him out to the point where injuries and all that, because he's not like some big dude. He's very frail. But you know what I mean? Like, you know, you obviously got to be smart about it, but it's just the opportunity that you could have the Swiss Army. I think the Patriots would be the perfect fit for Travis Hunter, me personally. He'll fit anywhere.
Yeah. I will say this. I think it's situational depending on the team. So as far as you say the Patriots, I think you could play him as receiver at the Patriots because you got Carlton Davis and Christian Gonzalez. Yep. Now you could play him in the slot.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Now he could be your nickel corner, and you could put him on the inside, or you could put Christian Gonzalez as a nickel and move him on the outside with Carlton Davis on the outside.
Imagine that. You know how filthy that is?
You can switch them in and out as far as that three-headed monster, as far as the corners go, and you can exclusively play him at wide receiver with the Patriots. Like that's fine. With you got Stephon Diggs, him and Stephon can do their thing. You know what I'm saying, with Boodle in the slot. So
now,
like if Travis another receiver.
Now, like, look, if Travis Hunter was going to get drafted by, let's say, I know this is not going to happen, but my team, the Raiders, we need him at corner. Let's call this. We got rid of Jack Jones. I don't know what we desperately
surprised by that. I was like, damn.
Me too. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a little surprised. Like, I get it, but at the same time, I am surprised just because of how we lost a lot of key players on that side of the ball. You know what I mean? And to like go ahead and cut him. I know there was a boy
from Texas.
Yeah, some people think it's going to be Will Johnson or Shedeur Barron. They got Mason Graham in there today. I know they're doing that. I know some people still think we're going to get Genty, but I think the Raiders, I don't know who we're going to draft at this point. I really don't know. I think it could go anywhere from Genty, Shedeur to Will Johnson or Shedeur Barron. So I don't know. I think the Raiders pick.
I go defense, and then second round, y'all get a running back. It's like, man,
I don't know, man, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I know we're kind of getting off topic, and I know we're gonna talk about our teams on Wednesday. But for a small thing, it's kind of I'm putting a bunch of faith into this regime that we have now, but it just does suck because I like the whole year. You know me, I was Shedeur. I need Shedeur. Then we get Geno. Then it's like, all right. Genty. So I'm like, all right, now I'm talking to myself. All right, we're going to get Genty. We're going to get one of the best running back prospects. You pair him up with, Brock Bowers, and then we can eventually get a receiver and all that type of stuff. Maybe next year in free agency or in the draft, we can get the top receiver. Maybe, in my dreams, maybe the year Jeremiah Smith, we can get him or something like that. But, now we're going into now we ain't got no cornerbacks at all. Well, not want to say at all, but we're so depleted in that position. Now it's like, now I got to reposition my thought process and like, all right, now we're going to pass up one of the most, premier running backs in the nation. Seeing what Saquon Barkley and all these Jahmyr Gibbs and all these great running backs have done, it just really puts me in the light of how many holes that we still have in my team. So it's like, I gotta literally accept whoever we take. I'm not going to be this because honestly, in reality, am I going to be disappointed if we got Will Johnson or Barron or Mason? No, because those guys are such great, talented guys. You know what I mean? Will Johnson, I think, and Barron are some of the two best cornerbacks I've seen, I think, in a minute. Minus the last couple of drafts, obviously with Travis Hunter, but I think they're up there with those guys. So, I just got to, recalculate my whole positioning on who I think the Raiders are going to get. So.
Yeah,
it just sucks.
Sure.
It just sucks because you get your hopes up for one player, and then it's like, you go do this, and you gotta do all that. But yeah.
But as far as Shedeur Sanders goes, man, like I think teams are over. I think I think teams are
Overthinking.
overthinking it, and I also think it has to do with the whole he's Dion's son.
Yeah, which I don't get either.
And
So he's a great
because
teammate. All his teammates love him.
because
So I don't get it. He's been a humble kid. Like he doesn't have any problems off the field, nothing like that. You know what I mean? Like he's a good, solid kid. You know what I mean? Like you haven't heard one bad thing about him that. But just that you're trying to tell me he's cocky. Wouldn't you want a confident quarterback? You want somebody that's going to be like, oh, I don't know if I'm great. I want that swag on my team because you know what? It feeds off of everybody else. Everybody else will feed because it seems like the moment you put Shedeur Sanders in a program, people feed off of him. People gravitate towards him. He's that kind of style of personality that I think if he can even go in the NFL, I think people are going to gravitate towards that kid because they're going to see he's a hard worker. He knows what he's doing. He could be a great quarterback. And then on top of that, the personality that he has, bro, I think that's a culture winner for real. That's me.
yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, man. Talk about our top 5 defensive end draft prospects, man.
All right. You want me to go first or? Yeah.
You can go ahead.
All right. Well, I think number 1, I got Abdul Carter. It's Abdul Carter. I don't know what we're doing. Like, you know what I mean? I think Abdul Carter, I think he's the most complete defensive end. I think just coming in talent wise, health wise. Obviously he does have the foot problem, but I think he'll be fine. But he just has the whole package. Number 2, I got James Pierce Jr. I think, you know what I mean? I knew he was talented, and I'm not a big dude of putting a lot of stock into combines, but just watching him perform and just his explosiveness, his just balance, in some of those drills, I thought was just top tier. And if he can just put that all together, and we saw it in some instances with Tennessee, obviously they didn't have a great performance in that Ohio State game, but man, I think he could be great, when you pair him with somebody next to him. I think Shamar Stewart could potentially be the best one, just talent-wise, size-wise. Obviously, there is a lot of development that needs to go within him, but to me, he is what everybody thought Tyree Wilson was supposed to be when he got drafted. I think Shamar Stewart could be that guy. Number 4, I got Nick Scarton. I think he's in the same kind of way. I think there is some development there, but the size, the explosiveness, I think, the power, I think he could easily be up there as like one of the better defensive ends. And then number 5, I got George's Mikael Williams. I do like what I see from him, and I think he can also be a great one. I know there were some moments in this year where a little bit of disappearing, but I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you on Abdul Carter. Of course, he's the best at all around defensive end in this draft. I think the injury thing, sucks. He couldn't perform in like the drills or nothing like that. But we saw the tape. Saw the tape. I'm with you with James Pierce Jr. I got him number 2. I just think that he's the second best pass rusher as far as just first step, elite first step, getting out the ball, and the dude has pass rush moves too. So.
Yeah.
The only thing about him is he is undersized, so he'll probably have to play 3-4 outside linebacker. So it might be an Isaiah Simmons type thing, coming out. So we'll see, but he definitely has the tools. My number 3, I'm gonna go with Mike Green and a Marshall. The dude showed both levels of being able to be a good elite pass rusher and run defense. So he's a good all around defensive end. I think whoever gets him. And then you're going to get a solid defensive end on that end. So then I'm with you with Shamar Stewart. Didn't show productive wise, like he didn't have the numbers, but you see the talent.
That's development.
You see it, but it is concerning that on Texas A&M, you didn't see enough of it. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully, wherever he goes to a good defensive mind that knows how to use him. But we'll see. We'll see. You see the athleticism at his size, but you do want a little bit more productive in college.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Mikael Williams, you know what I'm saying? We saw the Texas game. He wrecked that game pretty much.
He did.
But like you said, he didn't do it every game.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was times where it was like, where's Mikael at? Where is he at? He ain't doing nothing today.
Yeah. He played. He suit up. Like, what's going on, man? He eligible. Like, what's going on? Yeah.
Is he playing? No. Okay. But no, you see the tools. It's there. It's just and I know he was dealing with a foot injury too. So we'll see how much that affected him too. So, but those are top 5 prospects, man. Shout out to those gentlemen, man. And I like Nick Scorgan too. I think he's a good. Deion Walker from Kentucky. He's another one that's really good. Some other ones.
Jack Sawyer, man. Don't sleep on Jack Sawyer. Jack Sawyer was dominant.
Yeah. Jack Sawyer, JT, what's his name?
Tuamar.
Yeah.
Sorry
from
if I
Ohio State.
Both
of the brothers from Ohio State.
Yeah, they both can get it too, man. They both they were some of them. They were dominant in that playoff run. So we can't sleep on them, man.
So yeah. All right, man. Let's do our BetUS Surefire picks, man.
Let's do it.
All right, man. What you got?
All right, man. Slow basketball day. I know there's some baseball games. I didn't do no baseball games today. I haven't really been paying attention too much. I got to start paying attention a little bit more. A lot of stuff going on, but I just did 2. So I got the Kings plus 6.5. I got 6.5 tonight. I think the Kings have been playing really, really well. And then tonight, Florida money line. So yeah, those are my picks.
I took some baseball and then of course the national championship. I like the Dodgers over the Washington Nationals. I like the Yankees over the Tigers, and I'm gonna take my Royals over the Minnesota Twins.
That's what's up.
And then I'm gonna take Florida minus the 1.5 and the over 140.
You taking the over, huh? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a high score. So yeah, shout out to those teams. Go put your money in. But if you go to any of our social media platforms, you'll see the link for the BetUS app website. Click on it. They got a promotion, 150% sign-in bonus. That's 3 risk-free bets. If you bet anything, $100 up to $5,000. That means your first 3 deposits is risk-free. So if you bet and you lose on your first 3 deposits, you keep your money. You don't even lose it. So you can win money or you can keep your money. So go over to BetUS, sign up, and then tell them Cris Style Mal sent you. Especially if you win some money, you can give us a tip.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Cash app. And that does it for our BetUS Surefire picks. All right, man. Let's do the Would You Rather Walter Clayton Jr. edition.
Okay. I thought we was gonna do that on Wednesday.
Are we doing on Wednesday? You want to do it Wednesday?
Yeah, we're doing on Wednesday. Yeah, it was Wednesday. I thought we had enough topics. Did I put it on Monday's topic list? I thought I put it on Wednesdays. My bad. We're gonna do it on Wednesday. Yeah.
It's all good. Let's talk about the JuJu Watkins injury effect on USC's women's basketball team, because there are some girls that are entering into the transfer portal because of this injury.
Oh yeah, I didn't even hear about this. Who's entering?
What's the white girl? Avery Howell,
okay.
The freshman. She entered into the transfer portal, and there was somebody else, a point guard, that entered into the transfer portal. And they're still trying to see what's up with Kendra, because I don't know how true this is, but there is a rumor that there's a possibility that Paige could redshirt next year because of the injury.
Who, JuJu?
Oh,
they thinking about her redshirting?
Oh,
okay.
Possible. My bad, people. Give me a few minutes. I'm trying to pull it up because I know I saw it the other day. I was reading it. Anyway, two of the girls from you, two of their star players, entered the transfer portal. Um, Now I know they recruited that one 5-star recruit girl that was in the McDonald's um, All American game. But I do find it interesting that these girls, they enter the transfer portal, and especially Avery Howell, who was instrumental in them getting to as far as they got to with Juju being out. Um, and they're already losing. Kiki, she's leaving for the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just, if Juju were the red shirt, how instrumental do you think that would be into them getting recruits?
Well, obviously, we are seeing an impact already. You know, what I mean, they must know something that we don't know. Obviously, with how late she did get the injury, obviously we would assume that she probably wouldn't be ready for the start of the season. And even then, how soon would she be able to come back? You know what I mean? And how much would they? It's kind of like a risk assessment type of thing. Like, is it even worth it for her to come back now? Um, Obviously, that would push her a little bit back. You know, obviously from her entering the drafts. Um, but you know what? I think this could be probably kind of like a pause year for USC. I wouldn't be surprised on that. I really didn't put too much thought into that when Juju got injured. Um, I was just more concerned about her health at that moment in time. But
Mhm.
honestly, when you brought this topic up, am I surprised? At first when I heard it, yeah, but after really thinking about it the last couple seconds, I'm like, honestly, no. Um, I would hope that these young ladies are making the right decision for themselves because I think USC could be. I think USC is a great destination for women's basketball. Just the iconic symbolism of that. Especially in we see it in the movies all the time. What I mean, saw it in Love and Basketball, and just the impact of that. Cheryl Miller being how impact that is too.
Cynthia Cooper.
She but I think Cynthia Cooper and all them. But look, at the end of the day, money talks. You know what I mean? I think it's easy for these people, for these young ladies or young gentlemen to get swayed off of these teams with more money. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if, with 3-point shooting, South Carolina should be hitting her up because how often South Carolina should be hitting her up. I wouldn't be surprised if Texas was hitting her up. I wouldn't be surprised, what I mean, maybe UConn, Maryland, Oklahoma, and some of these other teams, what I mean, that could have better futures for next year in the current moment. I wouldn't be surprised, but at the end of the day, I think the most important is getting JuJu Watkins back healthy. And then the moment she gets back healthy, I'm surprised if USC starts getting top tier recruits again. You know what I mean? As you said, they had one in the McDonald's All American game. So I think that'll be good for her. Obviously, I don't know what position she played in the young lady's name, but let's say she is a guard
Uh,
or
Avery House, she played guard.
play guard. All right, so you look at that, then she's going to get a lot of playing time this year. I would assume get her ready for when Juju is able to come back, if she's able to come back next year or the year
Well,
after that.
no, my bad. Avery House, she's the one that entered the transfer portal.
Oh, okay, 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 okay.
It was her
Um,
and Kaylee Heckle. They both
okay,
entered the transfer portal. Kennedy
yeah,
Smith is still she stands. That's the other
yeah,
black girl that kind of look like
okay,
Juju.
got you. Like, look, with the two ladies that are transferring, I'm sure it's an opportunity. I don't know. It could also be, I don't know what grade level they're in. I don't know if they're a junior. I don't know if they're sophomore,
Freshmen.
senior,
They're freshmen.
they're both freshmen. So, okay. Like honestly, if I were them, obviously maybe they're looking at it as they want to kind of win now, and obviously money wise. Um, but I would understand that more if they were a junior and be like, look, I know next year is going to be kind of like a lost situation. I want to try to win before I leave. I would understand that, you know what I mean, more. But again, it's a money thing. It's a money talk thing. You know what I mean? If these ladies are going to get, extra, 500 to a million more for playing for a program, then I think any of us would have to really strongly consider that, especially when our superstar talent may not be playing next year. So,
Then the word is that the freshman is coming in, Jazzy Davison. She
Okay.
plays wing. She plays wing, so she's a two guard.
Okay.
So and that's what Avery Howell is. And the belief is that she's leaving because she thinks her spot gonna get taken by
She knows, so
this
you know her
girl.
spot's gonna be. Well, then that if that's the
Mhm.
case, then I totally understand it. You know what I mean? It's just, you know what I mean. Like again, it's a risk assessment for everybody in this situation because college sports is professional league now at this point. You know what I mean? So if you can put yourself in a better situation that can garner you more NIL money, more exposure, and a better chance of getting better playing time, then do what you got to do. So hopefully all these ladies get what they want. And then obviously we all hope that JuJu Watkins can come back 100%, hopefully sooner rather than later. But take your time because we all know how great you can be at the next level. So speedy recovery, man. Got you in our prayers.
A lot of people, Olivia Miles, they got a lot of people saying she might go to like UConn or South Carolina or Texas.
Look, man.
I think she go TCU and take Haley Van Leif's spot.
Yeah, you can do that. As I said, obviously South Carolina needs a lot of offensive help. So I think that's a great position right there. UConn, they are losing some players there. They're losing Paige. I think they're losing Fudd. I think they're losing the other point guard, the lady from Princeton, I believe. I think she's also a
Mhm.
senior. I think so. She'll be gone. So they're definitely gonna have some spots. But we know the depth that UConn has. Man, this is really looking like this could be UConn's. You know, like they can run off maybe one or two more of these things, especially with the JuJu Watkins injury. What's going on with South Carolina? Obviously, we have faith in that program, but we need to see some development with some of the players that they have and see some of the transfers that they get. And then obviously, what I mean, just the youth coming in, Texas and all that, and I mean, Oklahoma. They seems like they're going to be an uprising program. So UCLA, I mean, we got to look at them as well. So I mean, this could be a run for Gino where he can get maybe another one or two more. I mean, before he starts getting some healthy competition. So, because Sarah Strong,
Hey,
man,
Olivia, Olivia, come to UNLV, man.
yeah, UNLV need to step their game up, men and women. Let's call it spade. But again, I don't think we're gonna get real recruits until they figure out what they're gonna do with Thomas and Mack. Man, that arena is terrible, bro. That location is terrible.
Yeah. See what this new coach can do for the men.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I think a lot of the thing with the basketball program, the UNLV football program needs to succeed. If the UNLV football program succeeds, more money comes in, and a lot of stuff can happen with that basketball program. We see it with all college sports. You know what I mean? The better your football program is, the better you can financially support your basketball team. That's just the reality.
True. All right, man. Let's do our NFL offseason outlook. AFC West. This is our division, but today we're going to be doing the Chargers and Broncos.
Yep.
Uh, let's do this. All right, man. Let's start with the Chargers, man. Some of their offensive people that they signed guard Kai Beckham to booster up that offensive line, which was already good. They signed center Andre James. He played for your Raiders last year. On offense, they signed Najee Harris. They brought back wide receiver Mike Williams. They also got Dante Jackson from Pittsburgh, the corner, and Deshaun Hand, defensive tackle. Um, yeah, man, it's all about offense for this team. They need to get another wide receiver to pair with Lad McConkey. Lad McConkey was really good for them, but I still think he's a high end number 2. So they need a number 1 wide receiver, whether that be through the draft or maybe they bring back Keenan Allen. Maybe what I'm saying, he could come back. Whatever. But they definitely need a number 1 wide receiver to come over there to pair with Lad McConkey. And then, of course, you're bringing in Mike Williams, too. So if you can bring one more wide receiver in to add to that 3-headed monster, then I think you might have a little something more firepower as far as the offense goes. And maybe they can go forward from there and help Justin Herbert out to booster his development into being a, top tier quarterback like everybody trying to make him be. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think with this team, I think the main thing with them is I agree with you. I do definitely think they need another receiver. I know they got they get Rieger or something, John Rieger or something.
No, they got Mike Williams. Mike Williams.
Yeah, but we all know Mike Williams. He can't stay healthy. I think that's another key thing with this team is health. Like they have been, I feel like the most injury riddled team the last 6 years. You know what I mean? Like they just are always, down and out bad. I know they signed Najee Harris, but I still think they need running back help. I'm not a fan of the Najee Harris signing. I think that was a terrible pickup. I don't think he's going to do anything to help elevate that point of the football field. So I think they should look into the draft and maybe add depth to the running back core, but we'll see what that happens. But overall, man, I think if this team can stay healthy, I think if the Justin Herbert can develop more, obviously we have faith that Harbaugh is going to be able to develop that defensive line and offensive line. We know they're going to eventually be one of the top two in that field, but it's really about health and just can they find some explosiveness out of that offense? You know what I mean? If they can do that, I think they can be one of the more viable teams in the AFC.
Another thing, I know they signed, like I said, Dante Jackson, cornerback. But they're going to need some more cornerback depth because they lost Christian Fulton in free agency. We'll see if they bring back Asante Samuel Jr. because he's still out there.
There's rumors about him coming to the Raiders right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there are rumors about that.
So they're going to need some cornerback depth, and they're probably going to have to get some, maybe if there's some free agents out there, and add a rookie into this room. They're definitely going to need to add that. And I think they need to add a young pass rusher to this defensive line. I know they brought back Khalil Mack, but we all know Khalil Mack is long in the tooth. He still got pass rush juice, but they need a young guy. They need somebody he can pass the torch to.
Yeah, play more downs. You know what I mean? And again, it's a health problem with a lot of these guys. Obviously not Nick Bosa, but Joey Bosa is gone. So I mean, they do have some holes, but at the end of the day, they got the most important piece. They got the quarterback, they got the head coach. They do have some talent on that side on both sides of the football, but I mean, they're just gonna have to patch it in. So
yeah, for sure. Now we move on to the Denver Broncos. They added linebacker Dre Greenlaw to a 3-year, $35 million deal. And they signed also from the 49ers Talanga Hufanga. They signed him to a 3-year, $45 million deal to add to that secondary safety. They also added Evan Ingram to a 2-year deal. They signed Josh Reynolds. Josh Reynolds gets more jobs than anybody I know. What is free agent? But yeah, man, they signed those players. With the Broncos, I do like what they did on defense. Dre Greenlaw and Hufanga can stay healthy. That's going to be added firepower on that defense. Already good defense. Now that could potentially take them over the top to be a great defense, like a top 2 defense that nobody wants to play. The thing with the Broncos is 2 things. They need an offensive playmaker. They need to add to that running game because the running game is not good. They haven't been good for a while. It's kind of been like Mitch and Maxon, and 1 week this guy, and next week is that guy. They need a true 3rd down or 3 down every down back. That's what they need. They ain't got that right now. And then they need to figure out, is Cortland Sutton the guy, or do you need to get you another guy? Because there's games where Cortland Sutton looks like a number 1, and then there's some games where he looks like a number 3.
Yeah, that's true.
So they got to figure that part out. They got to make him. You better make him a viable into this offense more. Get him involved more. Because you see the flashes. We've always seen the flashes. Now, the thing with Cortland Sutton was injury. He would always get hurt. Lately, he's been staying healthy. So now you need to figure out, is he your guy? If not,
Yeah.
then you need to go draft. You still need to draft a wide receiver because I think Marvin Mims is a number 3. I don't think he's a number 2. But you do need to draft your wide receiver, and you need to get some running back help. And is Bo Nix going to have a slump? Because we saw with C.J. Stroud, and we don't think Bo Nix is anywhere near C.J. Stroud. So is he going to have a sophomore slump? Because if he does, then that could set the Denver Broncos back a year. And then, maybe the third year he gets better. But is he going to have a slip back to where this team is back to where they're not good at all? They don't make the playoffs. So that's going to be the question with the Denver Broncos. More offensive firepower with the running back and the wide receiver, and will Bo Nix have a sophomore slump?
Yeah, I can't really disagree with anything that you honestly really said. I agree with you. The running back depth they need a lot of help on that. You know what I mean? I think they have plenty of options at the running back position, especially during the draft. So I'm sure they're definitely going to answer that question right there. I personally think they need to find a true number 1. I like Cortland Sutton, but injuries and inconsistencies have me a little bit worried, especially the division that you're in, man. You got firepower across the board. You got the Chiefs, where you got to maintain. You got the Chargers. They got talent. The Raiders, with Brock Bowers and other key components that they're going to add, and adding Geno Smith too. So I mean, like there's going to be some prolific offenses in this division, and you got to keep up. I do love what they did on defense. I really do. If Dre Greenlaw can get back to what he was with the 49ers pre Achilles injury, they got them one of the best linebackers in the game today. Hufanga, I think he's a really talented back end safety type of guy that can really help the back end, especially when you got Patrick Surtain, one of the top 2 best cornerbacks in the league. If one, what I mean, if you want to debate that, we can easily do that for sure. What I mean, just adds depth to that team side of the football where you got to fear that side of the football. You know what I mean, for sure. So I think the thing with them is also health on that back end, especially on the defensive side. They do have some injury problems over there as well. But if they could stay healthy, add some key pieces on the offensive side, some explosion, add pieces around Bo Nix. You know what I mean? I think. Yeah, both of us don't really have. Obviously, he proved both of us wrong last year in how he performed. We got to respect that. So we can honestly acknowledge that. I do think he's a guy where I don't think he's a type that can elevate a team. I think he needs talent around him to succeed. And I think the more talent you add around him, I think he'll play really good. Like I think he could throw the football. He has. It seemed like he got real comfortable in Sean Payton's offensive scheme. You know what I mean? And it's only going to get better. So if you can add talent around him, I think the Broncos could be legit playoff contenders for sure. And I think it's just going to make this division even more tough, as it go, because with the coaching that we have in our division, if the quarterback, with us now adding Geno, I think that's elevated the quarterback play in our division as well. It's going to be tough. You know what I mean? This division is up for grabs. And if they can just add a couple pieces, I think the Broncos will be fine. Now, I hate to say that.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I agree. Like I said, offensive firepower and Bo Nix. Can he elevate himself to where he doesn't run into the sophomore slump?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And even if he does the first few games, can he get himself out of that slump?
Absolutely. Yeah. We saw with CJ Stroud, so
And that does it with the off-season outlook for today. We'll be talking about our teams on Wednesday. Should be interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get more depth.
How Jamal talks about my Chiefs and how they're going to squander this year.
Oh, yeah. Hey, man. I'm always fair in my assessments. I'll say that. I'm always fair.
Oh, man. All right, man. Let's. We did a mock draft like probably a month ago.
Yeah, about early March. Yeah.
So I figured we'd do another one. See how much has changed since combine and pro days have happened and things of that nature. How much we've changed on our stance on certain teams and where they pick. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and add that. All right. Can you see that?
Yeah, yeah, I can see it. Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's enter. All right. Tennessee Titans are first on the board. I'm pretty for sure the consensus is we're taking Cam Ward here, right?
Yeah, I think that's consistent. I think there was a lot of talk about maybe them maybe trading back and maybe or even potentially just drafting Abdul Carter, but I think after his pro day, I think they were convinced, and rumors Prima said I think they even started canceling some visits too. So yeah, I got Cam
Yeah,
Ward right here.
me too. Uh, all right. All right. Now we got the Broncos, the Browns on the clock.
Mm-hmm.
Now look, we all know they need quarterback. We don't know what they're gonna do. Are they gonna roll Kenny Pickett out there to be their starter? Are they gonna go get your boy? Um, what's his name?
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins from the Falcons. Or are they gonna draft somebody? I don't think they draft somebody here. I think they roll with Abdul Carter and have a two-headed monster with him and Miles Garrett.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they're gonna do Abdul Carter. I think eventually, I think they're gonna trade for Kirk Cousins. I'm starting to hear a lot of that more. And when you start listening to a lot of these NFL insiders, I think that eventually that's what they're gonna do. So yeah, I agree with you. Abdul Carter here at number 2. Pair him with Miles Garrett. That's gonna be nasty. That's gonna be nasty.
And he'll be a hell of a mentor for him too. So
100%. Yeah. Just don't teach him how to rip helmets off and hit people in the head.
that's funny. All right, now the New York Giants are in the same conundrum. They need a quarterback.
Yeah.
Now, they did sign Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. And hey, uh what's that hard knock, man? Y'all need to go ahead and get the Giants a show or something. Cause I want to see this 24/7 of Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson talking to each other.
And that's gonna be
Just
the illest prayer. It's gonna
just
be some ill
preaching.
prayer.
Hey, who gets prayer this week? And them arguing over it.
Motivational speeches, all that. Who would number one? Who would you take? Who would you rather hear from, Russell or Jameis?
Give me both of them because you get Jameis Winston and his country rhetoric to come out of his mouth, and then you got Russell Wilson with the corny stuff that come out of his thing. You mash that together, these two, put those powers when their powers combine.
Yeah, honestly, I think when you put those powers combined, I think you add
Oh
Sierra to
man,
that prayer circle. I think a lot of people would probably pick
with
Russ.
Tommy Cutlets in the background.
Jameis Winston is the funniest dude in on all the NFL right now. I don't think it's close.
Oh man, I would
But
buy
who you
that.
got? Who you got?
I'm gonna go with Travis. I'm gonna go with Travis. I think they
Yeah,
roll with Travis. I think they're gonna go with the more solidified. Even though I think Shedeur should be the pick, I think they want to roll with the more surefire thing in Travis Hunter.
yeah, I agree with you. I think the moment they signed Russell Wilson, I think it kind of didn't put. I feel like especially in this position with Brian Daboll, they're trying to fight for their job, so they need to win.
Mhm. Yeah,
So you add a person like Travis Hunter that adds stability on that back end, especially on the cornerback end, which they do need help on. And then you just have Russell Wilson throwing to Malik Neighbors. Yeah, I think that's big.
yeah, for sure. Um, the Patriots are now in a unique spot. They can go with Mason Graham, but they did sign some defensive linemen in the offseason and free agency. I
Hmm.
personally think they should go with Will Campbell. You need to protect your young quarterback. They had offensive line problems. You put Will Campbell on that line, let him be your left tackle for your whatever foreseeable future. And hey, man, let's go.
Yeah, I think this easily could be a trade up situation or a trade down situation for the Patriots. But if they're gonna stay here, I think it's Will Campbell.
All right, Jacksonville is on the clock. Um, I think they go defense here, man. I know I think they just put in the 5th year option for Trayvon Walker.
Mhm.
Um, but I think Mason Graham would be the play here, man. I think Mason Graham match him up with Trayvon Walker and Joshua Hines Allen. I think that's a nice little pass rushing tandem right there. So I think Mason Graham is the play here.
This one I'm not really sure. I agree with you in the sense of a smart pick. It should be Mason Graham, but I think with Liam Cohen, I would not be surprised if they maybe reach for a receiver here. I wouldn't be surprised if they reach for like a Tutorial McMillan or something like that and pair
Maybe
him with
even with the issues with ETN,
and all that. I wouldn't be surprised if they even reach for like an Ashton Genty. I wouldn't be surprised if
I could see Genty being a play right here too, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna go with the safe pick. I think they just want. I think they need defense. I think offense. You can get you. What have we been saying in this draft? You can get you a running back in the second, third round.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like if let's just say Amarion Hampton drops, even though I'm hearing that he's moving up draft boards, like he's going to get in the first round. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Even so, I can see them taking one of them Ohio State boys in the second round, or Caleb Johnson or one of them. Any of these running backs they could take in the second or third round. So I think they're gonna go with the short. I think they're gonna go with Mason Graham and get more pass rush on this defense.
I agree with you. I think I'll agree with you on this. Let's just go with Mason Graham, but I just think it's a great conversation because I think with how weird that Liam Cohen is, and how kind of off ball he was. Again, and then just the Jacksonville Jaguars organization. Yeah. Look, man, and just how much they probably need star power. I think Ashton Genty or McMillan, guys are more well known. I think they're trying to put butts in them seats, man. So I wouldn't be surprised if they look at offense.
That's a good point there. It is a good point. If you draft Ashton Genty, you're definitely gonna put some butts in the seats because they don't want to see him run the football.
Yeah, and it protects Trevor Lawrence too, especially with that nasty head injury.
Yeah. All right, man. I'll let you talk about this pick right here.
I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I have no idea what we're gonna do here after the whole Jack Jones thing. Honestly, I really don't know. Before Jack Jones, I would have easily probably said Ashton Genty. Obviously before Geno, if Shedeur was here, I would have easily said Shedeur. Especially with the relationship he has with Tom Brady. But I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I have no idea. I'm gonna say Will Johnson because I know how Pete Carroll loves his defense. I'm gonna say Will Johnson, but I don't know, bro. I don't know. Let's just do Will Johnson for right now.
You want to do Will Johnson? Okay.
Do I? Yeah, just do Will Johnson because we need cornerback. Hell yeah, we do. Just say Will Johnson. Fuck it.
Okay. Oh, man, going with the cornerback. All right, man. We got the New York Football Jets. Now they signed Justin Fields to a 2-year deal, so they got their quarterback. They might need to protect him. You know what I'm saying? They might need a left tackle. Armand Membu is sitting right there. But you also got Ashton Genty. You also got Ted McMillan. I wouldn't pick Ted right here, but
I know the Jets. I feel like the Jets would pick Shedeur. I think the Jets pick Shedeur, dog. I think they. How do you not pick Shedeur, dog? How do you not pick Shedeur, bro? You trust Justin Fields with that contract? Now that's me. That's me. But in reality, I think they'll probably. I think they probably pick or Tyler Warren. I wouldn't be surprised if they pick Tyler Warren here.
I personally don't think they take a Shedeur. I think they're giving the keys to. I know it's not some big five. I know it's not a big.
Are they with a 2-year deal? Are they?
I know that's not a big 5-year deal.
Are they?
But I don't think they want to put them. I don't think they want to put them in another situation where they just sign him and then you draft Shedeur.
That's not your problem, though. Your problem is to get this organization back to some relevancy.
I hear you. Well, I hear you, but
great conversation to have. What about Tyler Warren?
Do that. I'm not mad at the Tyler Warren pick.
What about Tyler Warren? Do you think they take Tyler Warren here, or do you think they take Armand Membu?
I think it would be Amon Mimbu because
Okay.
you got to protect your quarterback. Left tackle always goes over everything to me.
This
Outside the
is the
quarterback.
Jets, my boy. This is the Jets, my boy. They need help. They need help on that offensive side, especially with how Brees Hall feeling with that whole running back by committee bullshit.
That's but I'm just saying they need a run. They need to booster that
Yeah.
offensive line.
Nah, go ahead. Just
Tyron
do
Smith,
Amon Membu.
because
I'm
Smith
just trying
is
to have a
gone.
combo.
I know.
Yeah.
I
Just trying
know.
to have fun.
It's a good conversation to have because it's
Yeah.
like Shedeur is sitting there. Ah!
Yeah. That'll be
But
insane if they pass it. It's insane. It's insanity. But all right.
I actually think this is how it's gonna go though.
Nah, yeah, I really do think so too.
So we'll go Mimbu right here.
Unless there's a trade up.
Yeah. Got the Carolina Panthers coming up. Do they take Shedeur? No, I'm just playing.
Nah, they're good. Honestly, I don't know. You could go so many situations. You could go so many ways because I think they do need wide receiver help, but they also need defensive help too, like cornerback.
I could see Barron here.
You can see Barron. Yeah, I could see Barron too. I could. Or if they like have a real big belief like on like Shamar Stewart or something, you know what I mean?
But I'm hearing Jalen Walker is like really big on their board right now. Like
Let's go Jalen in. Let's go Jalen. Fuck it.
I heard they love Jalen Walker.
Yeah.
And this is where I'm picking Shedeur Sanders to the Saints.
I don't know.
Think he gets past.
I don't know.
I don't think he gets past the Saints.
You think so? With Kellen Moore?
No, I don't think I don't think he gets past the Saints.
But the question is, does Dion want him to go to New Orleans Saints? Because we still got I don't know, bro. I don't know. I really don't know. Because what is the future with New Orleans? What do they have? You have an aging Alvin Kamara. You have Chris Olave, who's probably like 2 concussions away from fucking retirement. Like you have a beat down tight end who's old and long in the tooth as far as like injury wise. You have an old defense. What is the future with the Saints? And if I'm Dion, I wouldn't want to put my son there, especially when you have options coming up like the 49ers, the Dallas Cowboys, like what? Like I don't know if I want my son going to the Saints. I think he'll push. I think he's pushing them off. I think he's telling them no. I'm good. I don't want my son going there. I really think he's gonna tell them that. That's me personally. Now we can go Shedeur here, but that's just my personal thought. I don't think Dion's allowed.
So what do you think? So what would be the other options
for Shedeur?
No, for the Saints.
For the Saints, they need a lot of help, dog. I was like, their old line is a little old in the tooth.
You saying what's the name? You said Kamara's getting old. Genty's sitting right there.
Genty's right there. You need another wide receiver because of all the Chris Olave head injuries. You got McMillan right there. You have Shamar Stewart. You need some defensive pressure. You don't get pressure like that as much as you used to. I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. I think the only person that I see that's on the list currently right now, as far as like the names I see, Tyler Warren. I don't think the Saints will go Tyler Warren, but I think they can easily take any of the names here, even Shedeur. Even though I personally think Dion will not take him, I think Dion would say no to the Saints. Me personally, especially with the options that are coming up when you could put your son in a better position. That's my mentality. But I'm gonna let you rock, man. What you think? I'm gonna let you rock with it.
I'm gonna go Shedeur here, man.
All right. I'm telling you, bro. Dion about to be like hell because when you look at the Saints are in such a bad spot, bro. Like you got Derek Carr, like you have a whole bunch of old players that you ain't got a cornerback. You just traded away Marshawn Lattimore. You got an old Alvin Kamara. Like, bro, what is that team doing? What is that team doing?
They still got enough juice over there that they'll be all right. I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be fine.
All right.
All right. The Chicago Bears are standing right here, man. I think they take Genty here, man.
Oh yeah.
If
add him to that offense. Yeah, you trying to give Caleb Williams as much offensive talent, and then on top of that, what's the head coach's name? I already forgot his name.
Ben
what's
Johnson.
His name? Ben Johnson, you know he loves his running backs. You know he loves to use his running backs in that situation. You add Ashton Jeanty to this offense, and Caleb Williams can get his shit together. That's scary. That's scary news. That's why I was like kind of hesitant. Like I still think the Raiders could potentially draft him, even with everything going on. He's too talented.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. You got the San Francisco 49ers. They've been in the more of a transitional mode right here. You know, you get rid of Debo Samuels. You
Got rid of your 2-star back ends and Travarius Ward and Hufanga.
Yeah.
You don't have a linebacker to help out Fred Warner. They're getting old.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting old on the offensive line. George Kittle's getting older. They got a lot. And then you're about to pay a Brock Purdy $50 million.
So do you take Tyler Warren here to be the heir apparent to George Kittle?
I don't know. I think you need a receiver because you don't know. Like they're already trying to trade Brandon. You already hear about Brandon Ayuk in trade rumors. You already got rid of Debo. I like Ricky Purcell. You need some explosiveness, man. But then again, you need defensive help too. You need some defensive help too.
So Shamar Stewart.
What does your gut tell you?
Maybe Malik Stark, safety.
I know Malik Stark.
Honestly, I don't know what the San Francisco.
I don't know, man.
Honestly, I don't know what the hell San Francisco's going to do. Personally, I don't.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with McMillan. I'm gonna go McMillan. I'll say McMillan. Yeah. I think offense. Let's just do McMillan right now.
I'll take Ted.
That one's tough. Honestly, man, you really think about it, man. After the first couple picks, man, it gets tough. I don't know who. I really don't know. Even by Raiders.
No, this is one of the
tough
drafts where you don't know where anybody's gonna go.
Nah.
All right, the Cowboys. Where do they go? They can go Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren looks like a Cowboy.
I do. I ain't gonna lie. I love them trading for Joe Milton. I really do because I like Joe Milton. I think that's going to put a lot of pressure on Dak Prescott to stay healthy and perform. Obviously, I think he can perform, but he has to stay healthy. I think they're having some injury questions with him. They need defensive help though.
They do. So
Stewart. They need another receiver though too. But there's no receiver. Well, Matthew Golden because they don't have. Damn,
sitting there. He is sitting there.
And they need a running back too. They need a running back. If Ashton Jeanty was here, I would say Jeanty, but
yeah,
I don't see him going this high for a running back. They do need cornerback help. They need safety help. I think they need D-line help. I think they need middle linebacker help.
They need all that. They need everything. They need help against the run. They need somebody who can help against the run.
Is that Shamar Stewart? Like I could see them taking him because he's such a freak athletic player that if he pops and then obviously the whole conversation with Micah Parsons and whether he's still going to be there, you got the whole contract situation going on with that. You know what I mean? Could that be a situation where they're like, yo, let's draft Shamar Stewart, and if he does what we think he's capable of doing, then we could trade Micah Parsons for some draft picks.
Plus, you lost to Marcus Lawrence too. So
Lawrence. Yeah, let's go with Shamar. Let's go with Shamar Stewart. Let's do that. This is gonna be an interesting draft. The more we're doing these picks, but I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Act up. Oh man, they don't want to pick. They try to tell us Dallas don't want it.
All right.
See, now we took time away.
Yeah, you can restart it.
I don't want to restart this shit.
All right, here. I'll just write it down. Who do we have? Shamar Stewart at Dallas. Shamar. So we have Shamar. So technically, Tyler Warren's still there.
So Miami, I think they go offensive line. I think they would go Kelvin Bates because they just lost Terrion for the he retired.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you. Let's go, Kelvin. I agree with you.
Here we go. The bullshit. Okay. Jeez. All right, we got the Colts next on the board. They've made some moves in the offseason.
They did. I think they answered a lot of stuff on the defensive side. I know there's rumors about them maybe trading Pierce, one of their receivers. Honestly, I could see maybe a Tyler Warren here. Honestly, I potentially could see that because I don't really think they need too much on the defensive side. Maybe the offensive line, maybe, but who else is available though?
Nobody that's worth the pick. So I put Shamar Stewart there, and we'll just say that's Tyler Warren.
All right, so Tyler Warren. So Shamar Stewart to the Cowboys, Tyler Warren to the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So the Cardinals on the board. I say they take Matthew Golden. Oh no, wait, the Falcons are on the board. I'm tripping.
Falcons.
Malik Starks.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's either Malik Starks or I could see maybe a Mike Green.
You know what? Mike Green might be better because they need a pass rusher.
They do. I'm gonna say Mike Green.
Yeah, let's go Mike Green. Arizona Cardinals, Matthew Golden. The Bengals is gonna take Malik Starks.
Yeah, they need all the defensive help they can get because all their money's on the offensive side. But then it's going to be real interesting to see how they handle the Trey Hendrickson thing because I'm hearing that there's a lot of problems with that situation.
Seattle's an interesting spot. Do they go defense? Do they go offense?
They need offense. They need a receiver. They need another receiver to pair up. But
you go
there's no receiver. Maybe a Colston Loveland because he is definitely a more offensive-minded tight end. Would they go that high with him? Has the Seattle ever picked a tight end in the top drafts? First couple picks? I don't think so.
You got Derek Harmon there. He could add pass rush to that defensive line.
Who's our starting safety?
Nah, I don't know. I don't think they got one.
Maybe Nick from South Carolina, man. He is a freak. I can see him. Yeah. He does bring like some Cam Chancellor vibes to him. I can see that.
Yeah, we can pick him.
I feel like people about to be mad as shit about this pass.
You get over it. Tampa Bay.
What do they need?
They did have Hassan Reddick to add some pass rush, but he is getting on there too. So I wouldn't be surprised if we have a Derek Harmon here or Michael Williams. They could use a linebacker and Jahan Campbell. They could use a corner, Jahdae Barron.
Yeah, they could. I guess the most pressing thing might, because I feel like they do get pressure with their line a little bit. It's inconsistent, but they do get it. They do need somebody in the middle, though. They really do need somebody in the middle. They don't really have nobody.
Jahan Campbell.
What you think?
I'm not mad at it. I can see Jahan Campbell sitting there.
Let's do it. Yeah, but Jahdae Barron, talent-wise, I think is the best I see on the screen right now.
Yeah, they do need another corner. Let's go Jahdae Barron. Let's go Barron. Let's go Barron here.
For sure. Yeah, do that because I don't want to give him to the Broncos. You pair him up with fucking Patrick Surtain. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good, my boy. Yeah, go ahead and give him to the. Go ahead and give it to him. Give it to the Bucks.
There you go. I'm going Colston Loveland for the Broncos.
I can see that. Sean Payton loves his
Yeah.
Titans.
Yeah. Or you can convert him to quarterback.
Yo, facts.
And pay him a whole bunch of money. Man. You ain't using this no more. Yeah. There you go. Shit. Pittsburgh Steelers. Jalen Milroe does play.
Obviously, this kind of hinges on what they do with Aaron Rodgers if Aaron Rodgers comes, because I can see them maybe trading up, especially if Shedeur falls down. You know what I mean? This will be a team I can see. But let's just say Aaron Rodgers signs with them. We'll just go with that.
Derek Harmon.
Yeah. Let's go with that. Yeah.
Add to their defensive line.
Yeah.
Cam was it Cameron Hayward not getting no younger. He getting older.
Yeah, he's getting older. Watt, he starts off great, but then he kind of slows down at the end of the year. It might help him, you know what I mean? Save his energy. So let's go with that.
We got the Chargers on the board. We both say they need offensive firepower.
I say Luther Burden.
Like Luther here?
Well, I know me and you have high regards.
We rate him higher on our boards than.
Can I see them getting a running back here? I don't know. Knowing them, they'll probably get another. I could see them maybe getting another offensive lineman or some shit. I could see that. It's fucking hardball, bro. Yeah, he loves his O line, bro. I could see them maybe getting Josh Simmons or something.
I can see them getting
Tyler Booker. Yeah, I can see Tyler Booker. Yeah.
Let's do Tyler Booker because that is such a hardball move.
That is.
Green Bay Packers.
They need a receiver, bro. Because that's me. Because I'm just not a fan of any of their receivers as being like legit, like go-to guys. That's just me. I like Luther Burden here, but I know they have some other holes they can probably fill up, especially like their cornerback situation, because we don't know what's going to happen with that either. So
honestly, I can see them taking Michael Williams here.
For sure. Let's do it. I'm with
it. Vikings.
They lost a lot of cornerback help. They did lose a couple of their corners, I think. But then again,
Jahai Campbell.
Do they need linebacker help? Don't they still got Hendrickson?
I think so. I don't know. Because their offense is pretty solid. They brought back Aaron Jones. Their two receivers are ballers.
Unless if they need help on the offensive line type of situation, I don't know. I don't know if they need the Josh Simmons or anything like that. I would say defense because I think their defense has some problems. But
the thing I can
see them maybe. I can see this being a potential like Nick Scorton situation, like them like having high. Like they think they could develop him. You know what I mean? But,
yeah. I think Jahai Campbell's a more short thing.
I'm gonna let you pick. I'll let you rock. What you think?
And I also think James Pierce Jr. might go higher than me.
Too. Yeah, me too. I can see that this is a situation where I think the Vikings can bank on maybe development. Like maybe they may not be ready now, but if we can get them ready for some big time games at the end of the year, fuck it.
You got Siobhan Ribble sitting there too.
Yeah. Maybe Siobhan.
Nick scored. Let's go Nick score. Let's go Nick. Let's go Nick score.
So
Oh, you know who's another one?
Hmm.
Donovan Araku. There's Araku. He's been moving up the draft boards.
yeah, it's potential, yeah, for sure.
So he's somebody that possibly can go there. But we'll go with Nick. Houston Texans, they need offensive line.
Yeah,
But
they
I could also see them drafting Emeka Buke and teaming him back up with CJ Stroud.
I could too. It just depends on
Tank
they need
Dell's
they
gonna
need they need to protect because you can get a Mike, but it's still not going to allow him to get the ball like CJ Stroud was fighting for his life last year. Smart
because the
play,
thing
especially
about
in traded.
the Josh Simmons thing is that the man tore his patella tendon. So I don't know if he's even going to be ready for the season.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
You can go safe and go Greg Zabel and slide him in as your starting guard. Because I think they signed Cam Robinson, didn't they?
man, maybe. Yeah, I think they did.
So he's going to be your left tackle. So maybe you solidify your guard play and draft Greg
I
Zabel.
know CJ Stroud is probably asking for a big bouquet. Mika.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Tank Dell is going to be out for the season.
Yeah, they need O line help so bad though.
They do.
Fuck it. Let's grant his wish. Give him a Mika. Give him a Mika.
LA Rams. I think Jahad Campbell is perfect.
I like that because their D line is already solid, so
Yeah,
and they don't need a receiver. They don't need
they
offensive
definitely
help, so
don't.
they're good. I like that.
The Baltimore Ravens. I hate to say it. Fucking Walter Nolan.
Think they go Walton on?
If he's there, I wouldn't be
Yeah,
surprised.
yeah. Let's do it. Let's give him Walton Nolan.
They
I want to
need
see
some.
him depressed.
They need some pass rushers.
Yeah, I want to see
You
my
want to
man
see
Chris
me
upset.
depressed?
Yeah, you seem a little upset about it.
I am because that's my guy.
Yeah, you guys aren't getting him. That's for sure. Don't worry
You
about
don't
that.
know that. You
You
don't know
know,
that.
yeah, it's not happening, my boy.
You don't know that.
Y'all ain't
Stranger
trading up.
things.
Y'all trading up before. It's a possibility. Y'all trading up before. I feel like when y'all know what I feel like. I have seen the Chiefs like when they know who they want. I've seen y'all trade up before, so I don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're right. It's a possibility.
Detroit Lions. They need defense, man.
I like James Pierce though. They've been trying to
Mhm.
get another edge rusher for some pressure. I won't be mad at this. They've been trying to trade for everybody in their mama. They've been trying to get Miles Garrett. They've been trying to get Max Crosby. I can see them doing James Pierce. I'm gonna not be surprised.
Okay, he went off the board. The Washington Commanders.
What do they need? Cornerback help?
They can use a guard here.
They could. Yeah, let's do it. Let's give him Greg Zabel. Greg Zabel.
Oh shit! Let me pick it. You ain't take the options off, man. We're not using this no more. Okay. Thank you. All right. Sorry, people. And we got the Buffalo Bills. Luther Burden.
Yeah, I can see Luther. But I feel like they could use some help on the back end too. Siobhan Revel, I like that one too.
Donovan the Rock.
Because I low key that was their demise in the fucking playoffs. Their cornerbacks couldn't stop nobody. But Luther Burden's sitting right there though.
Let me go Siobhan Revel.
All right. Why? So you can give Luther Burden to the Chiefs?
No, I don't think we would draft him.
No, I don't think I would either. Ray Rice, not Ray Rice. Rasheed Rice will be back.
Kansas City Chiefs. Because they can afford him some time to get healthy. And if he's sitting there, and then that's the rumor is if he's there, I think they take Josh Simmons.
Okay. Doesn't excite you.
Yeah.
And here we go. Go ahead and give him Donovan.
Araku. No, I was about to give him Luther Burden.
Luther Burden. He's about to give him Luther Burden. Do they need Luther Burden?
They don't need him, but
No, they don't need him.
Why not? He
Nah,
be a third receiver.
You really could.
He be a third receiver until AJ Brown start messing up. Ship his ass up out of there.
They could take Tyleek. They could take Tyleek Williams too.
Yeah. Or Donovan Araku. I think Donovan Araku makes the most sense because you got to replace Josh Sweat.
Yeah, that's what I said, Donovan. Yeah.
So yeah,
go. But then again, I said at that spot, bro, they can pick anything, bro. They can pick anything that they want at this point.
Fuck around and take a Marion Hampton and shit.
I'll pair him with Saquon. Double head monster and shit. That'd be crazy.
It ain't fair, man. It ain't fair, man.
They might even trade back. I can see them maybe even trade back.
So
somebody might want.
I can see us trading back. Phil Yates already got us trading back.
Oh yeah, who's trading up? Somebody, because honestly, I could see any one of y'all. You know what I mean?
You want to hear something funny? Guess who we got us trading back with?
Bills.
You.
For who?
Who did y'all get? I forgot who y'all got. I think y'all traded back in to get Luther Burden.
I can see that though. I low-key could see that.
I think you traded back in to get Luther Burden, and then he got us getting Josh Simmons in the second round.
Oh, okay. Especially with that injury, I won't be surprised if he dropped. Like, I don't think he'll be a solidified first-round pick with that injury.
Yeah, I think we traded back to like 38 with you guys.
Yeah,
you went up and got Luther Burden, and then we got Josh Simmons. I think.
I'm not mad at that. I can see that. I can see that happening.
And then I think because they got Nick Scorgan dropping to like the third round, they got us picking him in like our other second round pick. Well, actually, our second round pick. So we got us dropping it, getting him in our last second round pick.
Yeah.
All right, people, this is our draft. I'm sure you're gonna hate it. And just remember that the Tyler Warren was a mess up. I wish I could scratch it out.
I'm sure you can do it in the comment.
Yeah, I wish I could scratch it out. But
you could edit that shit.
I probably could. I'll figure it out. I'm gonna download this. Yeah. We'll get to it anyway. And it was long, but we're not using this draft tool. They ain't using this shit no more. And I know you gotta go. So
yeah. Sorry guys. These appointments are killing me.
All right, good people. Listen, we're not gonna do our elongated close
flowers
out like we usually. Oh, that's right. I ain't got no flowers on no hell no the week. So what you got?
Flowers. I'm gonna give Flowers a quick one. Alexander Ovechkin. Congratulations to him
Oh yeah,
for
for sure.
breaking the record for Wayne Gretzky, and then also Julio Jones. I don't think we ever mentioned it, but he announced his official retirement or something like that. So congratulations, man. So
shout out to Julio, man. One of the better wide receivers who wish he would have got a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
Hell no's. I really don't have no hell no's.
Oh, I don't know either, man.
That's good.
My hell no goes to Aaron the plumber for coming up on my timeline every 2 seconds. That's my hell no.
Hell no, stock market. Shit crashing like a motherfucker.
But yeah, good people. We're gonna go ahead and just end this. Subscribe, follow us on all social media platforms. We got the draft party, watch party coming up. Got a lot of special guests that are coming on the show. Should be a good time.
Yes,
Be a good time. This will be the first time me and Ma will be in the same room at the same time.
Yeah. Liquor's up, baby. Liquor's up, bro.
So it's going down. But until Wednesday, good people. Hope you all have a good week. Till then, we out.
See y'all Wednesday.